Pocket Party.
Pocket Party Podcast. If you like this podcast, do me a favor and comment, subscribe, share it. And if you want to make a little donation, buy me a coffee. That's right. The link is below. Buy me a coffee. And you can do any amount. You can do any amount. It just, it shows me that you care. Today we got a great episode. We're getting into breakfast cereals, circuses, zoos. One of my guests got mugged. He talks all about it. And we have a lot of laughs. So enjoy it. Start that party in your ear holes.
Pocket Party Podcast. It's my favorite podcast. The Pocket Party Podcast. It's my favorite.
And we're back, everybody. This is a special episode of the Pocket Party Podcast. I got two of my homeboys here with me. I got Dean Larit and Kevin Alderman. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm well, Darren. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. And here he is. I call him Podcast Gold, and you'll soon find out why. Listen to this voice. Listen to this accent. Listen to these stories. Take it away, Dean.
Muchas gracias. No, it's good to be here. Good to be here. I haven't done one of these in a long time. And can we say where we are?
Yeah, absolutely.
We are in the Yoo-Hoo Room at Flappers in Burbank, Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank, and this is like old times, doing this years ago. So good to be here.
Dean is Podcast Gold. I guess that makes me Podcast Chop Liver.
No, bronze.
Bronze. You're Podcast Bronze.
No, he said brats.
Oh, brats? Yeah, he's Podcast Gold. No, the reason I say that is whenever, especially when the earlier episodes, Dean would come on, I'm like, dude, people love you. I'd get so many comments, and they would share his episodes, and I think it's like that Howard Stern, New York style. However, you're the new Podcast Gold, because you were on about 5 or 6 episodes ago, and you talked about AI and DeepSeek, and dude, people love that stuff.
Really?
So you're getting ready to pass this guy.
I would love to pass Dean. Hey, to be honest, Dean does have a very nice voice. In fact, what are you doing later, buddy?
No.
¿Cuántos años tiene?
No, don't.
Dude, enough of the Spanish, right? Listen. So, Dean, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Queens, New York. Been out here now, Flushing, Queens area. Been out here now actually 35 years already. 35 years. I'm a chiropractor for 28 years, a comedian for 35 years, and getting ready to do a podcast myself. I had one a few years back. 5 years ago I had one. Then my father passed away and I lost interest in it. And now I'm going to have my podcast I had 5 years ago was Bedtime Stories with Dr. Dean. Any of you people want to catch up on some of the episodes of that. And then I'm getting ready to do another podcast. Now this is interesting. It's going to be called either And So It Goes or The Dean Larit Show. Okay, just like the Pete and Sebastian Show, the Joe Rogan Experience. So we're going to go that direction. But it's
my vote is you put your name in the title because even with me, it's like this is called Pocket Party, and so sometimes people don't know. They're like, hey, it's Darren Carter Pocket Party, and I'm like, no, it's Darren Carter, the party starter.
I'm definitely starting to agree with you on that. The name of the show. But go ahead.
I will tell you this. You guys, go check out this episode. You want to get to know Dean Larit a little bit better? Watch him on the Jamie Kennedy podcast, and he tells a great story about when he first came to Hollywood. And this is, I know you were on a soap opera for 3 years.
Yeah, that was later on. That was 2009.
But you almost had your shot.
At a contract role with Young and the Restless in March of 1990, and it's a great story. And your viewers or your listeners should check it out. It's a great and it's a great podcast. Jamie's got a great podcast. And but what I was going to say is 5 years ago I had Bedtime Stories with Dr. Dean. My father passes. I lose interest in doing it at that time. My head was not exactly right at that moment when that happened. And then the irony is that I'm starting a new podcast on the heels of losing my mother in July and my brother 15 months before her. So I've lost. I've had 2 big losses in my life in the last 2 years, and I decided to use that as an inspiration. Instead of quitting a podcast due to someone passing, I'm going the opposite way now. So hopefully it'll work out nice.
That's beautiful, man. And Kevin, you have a podcast. What's it called?
Mine is called Feeding the Beast. no name of Kevin Alderman in there at all. But with your suggestion to Dean about putting your name in the title is smart for branding or whatever. Yeah. But feeding the beast concept is really, honestly, it's just basically, to me, you have to feed the beast being social media. And I don't really want to do it necessarily, so I don't give a shit if my name's in the title or not. So, feeding.
That's what I want to listen to, a podcast where the guy doesn't want to do it.
Shit.
You know?
That's exactly what it is, because I do it whenever the hell I want to. Right. I talk about whatever I want to talk about. I'll do it wherever the hell I'm at, and that's it. And that's the podcast. You can take it or leave it. I don't give a shit either way. To be honest with you.
That's an original take. I've never heard anyone do that.
It's the truth. It's just, I don't really care. I mean, I'm doing it for myself, and people want to listen. Listen, great. If they don't, there's a billion podcasts out there. So I'm not taking it too seriously as far as that. I just want to do the podcast.
But you are. But here's what he is taking serious. This is great. You've got this great concept, and you're actually following through.
And it's working.
And it's working. Tell the listeners what he's doing. Check this out, you guys.
So I have this new idea that I started on April 20th, 420. It's when someone follows me on social media, whether it be YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, whatever, I'll do a personalized push-up video for them. I'll give them 10 push-ups. So for each follower, they get 10 push-ups. And so when I do the push-ups, and then I tag the person who followed me, and I post it on my social media, and I tag them, and they get to. And people like it. It's the numbers are starting to shoot up, and I think I told you guys earlier. Like I got over 100 plus. Subscribers on YouTube in just a matter of a few days.
It's amazing.
And so people are really digging the idea of, and it helps me stay in shape and whatever. So
what's the most push-ups you've done in one day so far? Have you kept count of it? What do you think it would be?
One time I went live on TikTok, and I put in the title of TikTok Live, I said 1 follow equals 10 push-ups, and I had 21 people follow me, so I had to do 210 push-ups in about an hour.
Did you really?
Yeah. It was... And I think that's when I hurt my shoulder too.
I was going to say, by the time he gets, Kevin's goal is 10,000 followers, correct? Right. And I said, by the time he gets to 10,000 followers, he's going to have to wear a size 54 suit.
You're going to be so jacked, dude. Your legs are going to be little toothpicks.
I know, right? Yeah. Don't
get popsicle sticks, but just buffed ass arms. Like, damn. Oh, there's that guy with the 10,000 followers. What's up, bro? Yeah.
Just keep wearing pants the whole time. But no, actually, technically, it's going to be hopefully 10,000 across, or 10,000 TikTok, 10,000 Instagram, 10,000 YouTube. That's 30,000 actually. So it's going to be a lot of push-ups.
Close to 1.5 million in push-ups.
I don't know what. So if I do 10,000 followers and 10 push-ups, that's 100,000 push-ups. So it'll be 300,000 push-ups.
So I do push-ups daily, like just this is my routine. I've been doing it for a long time now. But I will say today I took it off. I said, I don't know if I want to do it 7 days, day after day. So today I just walked. I didn't do any kettlebells. I didn't do any pull-ups. Are you going to take 1 day off of not doing push-ups, or what are you going to do?
Well, it's, honestly, 10 push-ups per video is not that hard to do. It's really not that hard. If you're doing 100 at one time, okay, now even in the day I did the 200, that was pretty heavy right there. But if I do, let's say 10 videos a day, it's 100 push-ups a day, but I spread the 10 out throughout the day, it's pretty easy to do that. It's not really that. So I'm not really pushing myself too hard on that part of it.
I wonder if there's people in prison that are like.
I was just going to say prison.
Yeah, I'm not even getting followers, and I do push-ups.
I can only. I imagine in prison there must be people going, "Hey, have you heard about this guy, Kevin Alderman?" Because if you think about it, they could really be going, "I don't get no followers, man." And next thing you know, you got people in prison going, I'll do. What would it be? I'll go 69 days without taking a Tylenol.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to drop the soap for 3 weeks.
That's hilarious. No.
What's funny is I will say, man, I got really lucky with finding what I wanted. You're going through the push-up phase of maybe this is my thing. When I started doing I like my women like I like my, and then I said, okay, boom. Once I saw those took off, I'm like, I'll upload other stand-up pieces or stuff from specials, but what goes viral is I like my women like I like my, and sometimes I'll get and here's the thing. somebody told me this. Tarun Shetty said this. He goes, everything is cringe until it's not. So it looks cringy to see a guy do push-ups like, oh, I'm doing 10 push-ups for one. No, thank you.
They're all going to do it.
Yeah, and now I do. I like my women. And there was a period where people were like, what are you, a one-trick pony? But it's like, boom, once it started getting 100,000, 200,000, people started, and even on the comments, I still get those occasionally where they're like somebody messaged me today or left a comment today where they're like, oh, all you do is I like my women, and then with an audience suggestion, and he goes, but a year later, I'm like, man, this is amazing. He goes, I don't know how you do it. Like so many subjects, so many objects, so many, like different. He goes, often so fast and different times, different answers. It's like, I do get stumped, but at the same time, it's like it's almost. And one buddy, Daniel Lobel, he said I should apply for the Guinness Book of World Records, like the most punchline for the same setup.
Well, that's pretty interesting.
Because if you think about it, it's like
that's pretty interesting. Just don't ask him about fruit.
Let's try it now. I know. The other night I got a little stumped on fruit, only because I was like, "What the fuck?" Because it was annoying. Because they're always. I was like, "Guys, it can be other categories." Right. Here, let's try fruit. Let's see what we got. I like my women like I like my
Jeremiah's.
Rhyming with Jeremiah. I like my women like I like my pomegranate, juicy, lots of seeds. I like my women like I like my avocado, the good fat. All about that hass. Right. A little bit extra than the rest. I like my women like I like my
blueberries,
low in sugar. Not available in Israel. Did you know that?
Is that true?
Yeah, I found that through Avi Lieberman. He was getting a lot of blueberries, and he goes, I love blueberries. We don't have these in Israel. I like my women like I like my watermelon, seedless, fun to smash, especially if you're Gallagher. I like my women like I like my, we'll do two more. I like my women like I like my
grapes,
getting crushed. Looking like raisins when they're old. All right, last one. I like my women like I like my
apples,
granny style.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Good, I like it. Yeah, man.
What's your favorite apple? I have a favorite. I like Gala, Gala. Those are great. I love Gala, and I love the Honeycrisp apples.
I like Fiji. I like Gala. Gala's good. I actually like Gala.
Do you like red apples or green?
I like red.
How about you?
Probably red. Red's probably sweeter, I think. Aren't they red sweeter?
Yeah, green's a little tart, but some people like that. Like I don't even like tart Halloween candies.
Yeah, I eat apple Pop-Tarts.
You do?
Those were great, man.
No, not anymore.
I was like, damn.
They were. Is that a Pop-Tart for real?
Yeah, it was.
Honestly, my favorite Pop-Tart was brown sugar.
Yeah, dude.
That was the best.
Brown
dude.
sugar. I like brown sugar, and I like strawberry.
Shoot, when you get up in the morning and you have that with a glass of milk,
that was amazing, man.
made your day.
And then by noon you're crashing.
Yeah, but that was like, oh my God.
Why
it's
am
like
I so tired? No, it's funny you bring up Pop-Tarts because that's like Jerry Seinfeld's favorite breakfast. He made a movie about it. He made it Frosted.
And
he always says, he goes, I will talk to anyone who can talk to me about Pop-Tarts. And but that's, Pop-Tarts, blueberry with the frosting, man.
Oh my God.
Something about that cinnamon brown sugar.
Do you like them hot or cold?
Hot, bro.
Hot
you
was
got to
great.
melt
Dude,
them.
I'll eat them either way.
Hot was great.
You got to get them warm and then have it with a glass of milk, bro. It's the best, man.
And I'm going to hit Whole Foods soon. You got me thinking, man.
No, but when you're a kid, you can eat that.
When you said crashing, I don't think I even knew that I was crashing when I was younger.
Yeah, no.
In my 20s, I remember, but I look back and I'm like, I remember I used to take these long-ass naps, and I think it's because I was eating a lot of stuff that's like, you weren't aware of. Did you guys have a favorite breakfast cereal?
Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch, man.
Good, yeah.
Fruity Pebbles, Captain Crunch.
Count Chocula. I actually like Life.
Oh, I like Life.
Yeah,
I love Life.
Yeah.
Life is what the fiber checks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And do you remember the commercial for Life?
No. Oh, is it the one Mikey?
Yeah, he won't eat it. He hates everything.
Give it to Mikey. Mikey
he likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Right, that's right. You're right.
Do you remember that song by Michael Jackson? She's out of my life. She's out of my life. I don't know whether to laugh or cry.
Right.
But she's out of my life. I used to say, I don't know why a girl was in a cereal bowl anyways.
Hello.
Oh,
I'll tell you.
But I tell you what, you do that a couple times and they don't know what the hell you're talking about, you stop doing that joke. You're like,
But I got to tell you, no, the lunch break, and I used to get Aunt Jemima pancakes, and my mother would leave them on the side of my bed at 7:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, with the maple syrup and a little aluminum foil over the plate, the paper plate. And I would have 3 Pop-Tarts, 3 Pop-Tarts and 6 pancakes.
So your mom loved you?
My mom,
That's so gay, dude.
She used to make them. Those were great days,
Oh my
man.
God. We growing up,
maple syrup.
Oh no, we grew up very poor and dysfunctional. So Pop-Tarts was
I'm
our.
from Flushing, Queens. There were
They
4
don't-
of us
if
living
you-
in a 2-bedroom with
No,
1
that's-
bathroom.
No, that's different. Your mom loved you enough to make you pancakes and put it on the side of the bed.
I don't know about that's not exactly putting pancakes inside the toaster oven for 12
You know
minutes.
how I woke up in the morning, went to school.
What'd you wake up with?
By myself and went to the kitchen and made my own Pop-Tarts and made my own lunch. And my mom wasn't even
Really?
around at that point. Yeah. So
We didn't get much like in the form of meals like supper. My mother would make a crock pot, what's called a crock pot, and it would go in the refrigerator. And for a week, we would live out of that crock pot. Me and my brother. Pepper steak.
we had something similar, but a poorer version. We called it goulash, and it was all the leftovers for the week thrown in a pot and warmed up, and you just ate out of that.
You know, it's funny you talk about school, walking to school and all. They always say, I was doing this joke. I tried it, I think, once or twice. I said, I read that Abraham Lincoln walked 4 miles in each direction to go to school. And I thought to myself, with all that cardio, and he still managed to get shot in the head.
Oh.
No, seriously.
He wasn't in that good of shape to dodge a bullet.
I mean, come on, dude. Yeah.
Was it too soon?
Yeah,
It's almost
too soon.
200 years.
I just saw him on a penny.
It's 160 years ago.
It's funny we're talking about this because Kennedy, the new Kennedy, they're talking about they're gonna get rid of the
penny.
No, come closer. They're getting rid of the food coloring, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we're wondering, like, what are these cereals going to look like? I was telling Jimmy Dore earlier, like, Fruity Pebbles, it's just going to look like Pebbles. You know, it's just going to, because I guess they do it in other countries, and they'll find, like, fruit juices, I guess, to dye the cereals. But it got me thinking about that. Like, it would be strange to see, Fruit Loops where it's just, like, tan.
There's something about the Kennedy thing and the Lincoln thing. Lincoln was shot.
Are you not even listening to what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
I was zoned out.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I was talking about food coloring, but go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, no.
I know
but-
these similarities. There's like 20 some. There's like 20 some
Something
odd
like-
similarities
So Lincoln was shot in the Ford Theater,
in the Ford Theater.
and then Kennedy. What was
He
the
was shot in a Ford. No, he was shot in a Lincoln. He was shot in a
Yeah,
Lincoln
But
limousine.
Yeah. And so the
Both
guy who
shot from behind.
Okay, but here's the thought. No, so the guy who shot Kennedy, John Wilkes Booth, 3 names. The guy who
Lee
supposedly
Harvey Oswald. But
shot
he
Kennedy.
didn't do it. He didn't do it.
I know that, but it was Lee Harvey, 3-name
Lee
guy.
Harvey
So a
Oswald.
lot of similarities.
Yeah.
And I think it was like a certain amount of years apart. What was
Kennedy's press secretary was a person named Lincoln,
Yeah.
and Lincoln's press secretary was a person named Kennedy.
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, there's like 23 similarities to that entire 17 degrees of separation of the two,
Well,
whatever.
we're living in a simulation.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we're real.
Oh, it's all Matrix. This whole thing is a Matrix. Yeah. And
So if I go steal or rob a bank, it doesn't really matter because it's. let's not get people to get ideas. Hey, I was watching or listening to Darren Carter podcast, and the guy said it's okay to rob a bank, sir.
Yeah, that was Kevin Alderman. Yeah, he was last seen doing 10 push-ups at Bank of America.
right, Hollywood Way.
Yeah, right as you cross over into Hollywood. But
By
it's
the way,
funny.
I love behind my Bank of America at night because I go like 3 o'clock in the morning after I finish working out, and I'll go to the Bank of America to throw a check in or something. And these nutcases with their electric vehicles are charging their cars at 3 o'clock in the morning to get to work in the next day. It's just it's hilarious. Right behind Bank of America on Magnolia and Hollywood Way. It's just so funny.
I think if you have a second car, let's say you have 2 or 3 cars, then I'd be okay with an electric car. But if you got to rely on, because I had a friend that had an electric car, still does, and we drove from San Jose to Monterey, and dude, it was annoying because shout out to him if he's listening, but I was annoyed because we couldn't turn the air conditioner on because it was going to drain the battery, so it was all hot, and I couldn't really roll the window down because the air drag, and then. And then at one point we had to pull over and like charge the thing for a half hour, and I'm like, dude, this, but in a regular car, you're just gonna get there, Right.
Yeah. So
I had a show in Palm Springs, and we were running a little late, and the guy that was driving had a Tesla, and the same thing. He had to stop like every so often to just fill up and it takes forever to fill up to get any part of a charge. Like in a gas station, it takes you 5 minutes, you're in and out, and you get a full tank.
Right.
But with this, we had to sit there for 30 minutes, and you only got like a quarter of a tank
it's
of
really
electricity.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, you guys know Jeff Dye. They did a theater in Modesto. It's about 6 hours from LA, and I guess they didn't charge it on the way back, and had to get towed. And it's like, that's what I'm saying. If you're just using it around town or like a quick trip, but I mean, at least the way they're made now.
But to make it your primary vehicle is like can be.
And then there's those waits where people are like, and you see, when we did it, we had to wait a half hour for it to charge, but there's nobody at the pump or whatever, the charging station. But imagine like I've been to some Walmart, so there's a line of people waiting just to charge.
Well, that's what I meant. Behind Bank of America on Magnolia and Hollywood Way, you at 2, 3 in the morning, there's a line of 6, 7 of them. It's mind-boggling, but. It is what it is, and we should let the audience, we should let the world know that Tarun Shetty has just stepped in.
That's right, Tarun Shetty. It looks like he's eating dinner, so maybe when he's done eating, we'll have him back on the podcast. He's in the bullpen. He's in the bullpen.
He was showing me some Brazilian jiu-jitsu a little while ago when he was here before he went to get that hamburger. And interesting, I felt the grip of him. He was doing like a 2-legged.
Oh, that's so sweet.
The grip of him.
Yeah.
Hey, you know how I called it the bull? You know how I called it the bullpen? I just saw that they're trying to clean up certain words for the sensitive people that get triggered. What's that group that's all for animals? PETA. Thank you.
Yeah. Like the bread.
Yeah, they don't want to call it. They don't want to call it in baseball. They don't want it to be called the bullpen anymore.
Boy.
They want it to be called the arm barn.
Oh my! Are you serious?
I'm 100% serious. Yeah, arm barn.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Well, the question is the Major League Baseball going to acquiesce to that silly request?
That I don't know. I mean, don't they also call the football the pigskin?
Well, that was the pigskin like 1920. I mean, that's
what I'm saying. It's called the. I mean, certain words that are like.
But what they did to the Washington Redskins is they made them the Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders. I mean, look, to me that's just ridiculous. Everybody is. You know what it is? People aren't happy unless they're unhappy.
Right.
Unless they have something to complain about in this day and age.
Well, I think it goes deeper than that. Yeah. It's people who have this. Obsession with trying to
change everything.
Well, you got to look at their motivation. Their motivation, in my opinion, I'm not a doctor, but I played one on TV, where they have to feel good about themselves as a human being, right? And they think that if they go after these ridiculous things that they're going after, that they're doing something grand or great for
to make the planet a better place.
Yeah, and so then that makes them feel good about themselves, but they don't realize that they're just being ridiculous. They look
ridiculous.
Like
you know what? It's funny you guys say that. We went to the Los Angeles County Zoo, or is that what it's called? It went to the LA Zoo. Went to the LA Zoo on Easter Sunday, and as a family, we're like, we're going to go there. It's going to be awesome. And as we're walking and getting closer, you start hearing this yelling and screaming and bullhorns, and I'm like, what is going on? And there was a bunch of protesters. We don't want to eat on the podcast. It's going to be all loud, and noisy, and stuff. Okay. But if you're starving, go ahead and have one. But Tarun is very nice. He just offered us some stuff. But they were like protesting, like, free Billy the elephant, free Billy the elephant. We want free Billy the elephant. And they were so annoying. It was so like, come on, man. And not one person stopped and was like, okay, no, I won't go to the zoo, right? So we all went to the zoo. We had a good time. And then you get in there, we're like, where's this Billy the elephant? Finally, we saw him. Dude, this guy was like asleep. He's like lethargic. And then we did see another elephant. And then the very next day, I don't know, but this has been ramping up. The very next day, somebody sent me an article, and it made the news. They're going to send Billy the elephant to Tulsa, Oklahoma, him and the other elephant. But now they're putting a hold on that because
Billy loves the warm weather.
Yeah. If you're an elephant, he probably loves L.A. more than he would like Tulsa. You know?
Who names an elephant Billy?
I don't know.
Is that his real name?
But you're right, though. They're never happy because now they're not happy that he's going to the zoo. And it's also the same group, because I was talking to a lady about it. She goes, yeah, that same group that's protesting, they're the ones that stopped the pony rides at Griffith Park.
We want
so
to
it's
see
like
Billy's birth certificate.
So they're always like, yeah, he was born
Who
in
his parents were.
Yeah. He wasn't really born in Hawaii.
But no, I do. But you got to admit, those animals are so. At least they used to be. I don't know what the policing it. I don't know what the policing of these kind of circuses and all. But they were always treated like garbage. These animals and
in a zoo.
Yeah, it's not known to be the greatest.
I think the zoo is
The zoo is probably better than the circus.
The circus is, I can see that in the circus, especially back in the old days.
Oh, in the old days, forget about it. Forget about it.
But I think now, like the zoo, I mean, by the way, there's hardly any animals I felt like at the zoo. Like there's a lot of closed down cages that are under construction and a lot of, or as we were calling it zoo clickbait because you're like, oh, look, we're going to, it's like,
Okay, so now we're on this topic. So if you got a problem with, and I'm not saying I go either way on it, but if you got a problem with the way they treat the animals are being treated in a zoo, like you're saying they're bad, which they may or may not be. I don't know. I'm not arguing that part. Do you eat meat?
I do.
I love meat.
Do you know how they treat cows?
Oh, I can only imagine.
It's a little bit worse than an elephant.
I know. But look, I mean, I don't think I'm being hypocritical here in any way. I just those animals are treated poorly, but they're still alive. In other words, the animals for agriculture, they're going to slaughterhouses,
right.
But they're not being quote unquote tortured. After they die, they die. Okay, it's over.
Right.
No one's torturing animals at a zoo.
Well, I don't know. We don't know. We don't know how they're treated. But I'm just saying, animals in a circus, they get whipped. They get this. To me, it's almost like what a shitty way to live.
Well, the reason the animals get treated that way, who do you blame? The people who treat the animals that way? What's that?
No, the people. What were you going to say? People support the shows.
Yeah, the people who buy tickets.
Yeah. I was never a circus guy. I never liked it.
That's so weird because you're a clown.
I'm a clown. With that, I'm out of here. I'm going to Whole Foods.
You are? Oh,
I gotta go. I got 17 minutes before they close.
You guys go check out Dr. Dean Larit. He'll tell you some
I want
stuff.
to know more about your podcast, man. You didn't really talk about it that much.
It's going to be we're going down and dirty, and we're going to just tell it like it is. I'm going to give these people a little refresher course in who I am, because who is this guy? Who's Dean Larit?
You got attacked one time. Tell us that real quick.
I got attacked underneath the Queensboro Bridge, and I was walking, minding my own business. Everything was great. It was this beautiful Saturday night. Coming off the Queensboro Bridge, which is 1st Avenue and 59th and 60th Streets in Manhattan. So for those of you who know Manhattan. And I was getting ready to go see my friends at Chippendales. They were dancers, and those of you who know me know that I was a stripper in the 80s, male stripper. And I was going to see my friends and hang out, and I'm minding my own business and just finished waiting tables at a restaurant, and I had a few hundred in my pocket, and the next thing you know, I got a guy's left arm completely around my neck. Wow. Out of nowhere. Guy came from nowhere, and I didn't panic. I had some neighbors as a kid. I had my Chinese neighbors as a kid who were martial arts guys with stars and flying stuff. They were great. That
was huge in the 70s.
Oh, he taught me nunchucks and everything, these guys. They were the NG family, the Noog family, NG. And
I think that's pronounced win.
No, NG is Noog.
Is it?
Yeah,
N-G-U-Y-E-N, I think is win.
Yeah.
Oh.
So So I didn't panic, which looking back in hindsight, I can't believe I didn't. And I went left arm over my neck, around my neck from the front, means his entire rib cage is exposed on the left side. And I just wound up from like New Jersey.
Like you lifted your arm so high and you went bam and you elbowed him in the
guy. I promise you, there is a guy out there somewhere telling his son right now, don't ever do what I did. I made a mistake once, and I.
That's a good father.
Yeah, and I tried to mug somebody who actually hurt me, and then we actually pulled him over. We actually got the cops to pull them over, and I ended up dropping charges and all. This is way before cameras, way before cell phones. 1988.
How about the part where the cops pulled him over and they wanted you to identify him?
I said, listen, there's going to be there was a whole bunch of cars coming. It was all, what do they call that? Gridlock.
Yeah.
Gridlock. It was a Saturday night in First Avenue, which anybody who knows back in the 80s was just traffic up the yin-yang. And I stopped and I told these police officers, I said, guys, there happen to be police officers hanging outside of Chippendales because they want to pick up the girls coming out of the show. Because the girls are nice and horny and blah, blah, blah.
Dude, a buddy of mine, we tried that back in the day.
So
I'll tell you, that's another story. Remind me of that.
So I'll make this quick because I do got to get in the car. And I went, guys, officers, listen, I know you're lieutenant. I used to bake bagels with you lieutenant in Queens. His name is Roy Cohen. Immediately they got up off the hoods of their cars. They became like standing straight. And I'm like, I don't care. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to say anything to you, lieutenant. And one thing led to another. I said, there's going to be a car you're going to see very shortly. It's stuck in traffic, bumper to bumper. And they pulled them over. They pulled these guys out of like a Toyota Corolla. They came out of the car and they played dumb. And he said, the guy said, I said, how are your ribs, man? Okay. And he goes, no comprende, but no, they're fine, nothing wrong. And I go, really? Lift up your shirt. Okay, lift up your shirt. It was like a summer night, and he wouldn't lift up his shirt
because you thought there'd be bruises there or something.
I hit him good. I got a good shot off, and I ran. He released as soon as I hit him. I ran. I wasn't sticking around to find out, where the knife is coming from, or where, God forbid, the gun is coming from. I didn't.
Did you run in the zigzag?
No, I ran straight.
You're supposed to run in a zigzag.
Serpentine. They call it serpentining. Serpentine. You ever see the movie In-Laws?
No.
Come on, Shell, serpentine. Peter Falk, he was like, you got a serpentine. Serpentine. No. If anybody watches The In-Laws for Peter Falk and Alan Arkin, you'll know the scene I'm talking about.
And did you walk that same path years later? Did you ever? Did it go through your mind?
No. I'm from Queens, man. I saw this shit growing up, so I wasn't like freaked out by.
All right, Dean. Well, off you go, man.
I'm going to Whole Foods.
So now it's just me and Kevin.
Don't forget, folks, keep listening to the Pocket Party podcast, and you got Kevin Alderman at Kevin Alderman, ALDER.
They know how to spell it. It's in the description.
Oh, okay.
All right. So long, pal.
And
see you later, man.
Push-ups for you.
Absolutely.
All right, Kevin. So
now
that he's gone, see you, buddy. I love his stories. You know what I mean? Like that podcast gold. He's got that.
He's got a great radio voice.
Yeah, come closer.
He's articulate.
I think Tarun's not coming back, so it looks like it's just going to be the two of us. Okay. Yeah.
No, he's very articulate. He enunciates every word, which is good for the audience, I'm sure. But he has a great storytelling skill, so I look forward to his podcast. I'm curious to see how good it's going to be.
I am too, and I love what you're doing, man, because you're doing the push-ups not just in the same stagnant, hey, here I am in my living room. You're giving people a tour of like different, this thing is developing. Like, tell us some of the places you've gone.
Yeah, it's interesting because I started out, the whole idea was I was going to do, when I get a notification on my phone that someone followed me, I will, no matter where I was at, no matter what I was doing, no matter who I was with, I was just going to videotape 10 push-ups. And I'd been doing that, but a lot of times it was just in my house, so I'd end up doing the push-ups in the kitchen or the living room or whatever. And I thought, it's getting kind of stagnant, so maybe I'll just go out into different places. So I did one on a roof that got a lot of views.
I remember seeing that one. Where can we see that one that's on the roof?
It's on my all my social media. I think that was I think that was Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. Because like if someone follows me on Instagram, I don't post their video on TikTok or YouTube. I just keep it on Instagram. And same goes for TikTok and YouTube. So I don't remember exactly.
But I remember seeing that roof one, and it looked kind of dangerous. I was like, whoa.
Well, it's not too bad because the roof was.
But it looked scary to the viewers.
Yeah, the viewers, I guess, probably thought, oh my God. So now it's like one today. I did one in for YouTube with the Batman here in Burbank in downtown there as the backdrop. I had a great one that you recommended, the elevator, riding the elevator up.
So it's a glass elevator, and it goes up about 18 stories.
Yep.
And it starts out, you don't know where he's at. You just see him on an elevator, and it rises above the trees, and then all of a sudden you're seeing the whole valley.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And so I'm looking for really nice backdrops, like a waterfall or, the view of from a mountain or on top of a building, or just so I can.
How about a plane land? You could go by the airport.
Absolutely, it's a great idea. Yeah, absolutely.
The Hollywood sign.
The Hollywood sign. Yeah, I did that one the other day for a YouTube subscriber. I did the Hollywood sign. I'm probably going to go down to Hollywood Boulevard and maybe get on one of those the stars on the boulevard.
Oh yeah, different people's stars.
Yeah,
you can
absolutely.
find different ones. Here's one. Here's one for John Wayne. 1, 2. Come on, Pilgrim. I can crank out 10 push-ups.
I can't do the accent or the.
I'll do a voiceover. Michael Jackson. 1, hee hee, 2, hee hee, and those are just the people I like. That's gross. I'm sorry,
gross,
guys.
yeah.
I went for the cheap laugh.
No, so I'm just trying to, just make it interesting for people. So,
Dude, that's good. Celebrity push-ups, and I'll do voices.
You could do the voice.
You dirty rat.
No, because I can't do impressions with the crap. So I'll have to have you do it.
Yeah.
So, but I've got about 9. I'm behind now. I got 9 people.
So you got 90 push-ups. Dude.
Yes.
Dude, you can't get behind on this. You remember like Lucille, I Love Lucy? Remember they were getting behind on the chocolate with the assembly line, and they started
eating.
So next thing you know, you're like, I'm behind. I got 90 push-ups, and I got, oh gosh, I got one. And then it's going to be like 118. I got 1,000 push-ups. I'm behind.
I know. One guy is on my YouTube sent me, or he made a message. He goes, I haven't got my YouTube yet, or my video yet.
Boy.
I go, I'm gonna get you tonight, brother. So I have.
Yeah, because you're an honest man. You're not going to just take the follow without.
No. I want people to, because it seems that people seem to like it, man. They feel like, oh, this creator is creating content just specifically for me.
That's cool.
So I'm tagging him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. Plus, I'm trying to stay in shape.
It's working. Do you sometimes wish that you pick something else, like squats, air squats or something?
Not necessarily, but there are things that, like, I don't know I don't know the end game of this, because
You're gonna get buffed.
I'm gonna get buffed, yeah. But like you said, I might just have skinny legs. So, but no, I'm gonna keep working out on the other stuff too. But push-ups is cool. I like it. But
and that's good that it's only 10. You didn't pick a 25 or 100.
Right. It's only 10. It's
you know what I did years ago, and it's on YouTube. You guys can go check it out. I was like, 4th of July, I'm going to do 400 push-ups. And the reason I did that is because it would have made more sense if I did like 1,776 push-ups, because that's like, the year of our country's birthday. But I was like, that's too many push-ups. and 500 sounded like, but I was like, let me just start 400 push-ups, 4th of July, 400 push-ups. That
makes sense.
So, so I wore like a red, white, and blue like outfit and got all patriotic and did my 400 push-ups in the morning. And I was definitely sore that day, like the next day I was sore. And I took like a before and after, like, we're going to do this, but.
You did 400 that day?
Did.
Wow.
I did. I'll show you the video. And then I had my son, Austin, a.k.a. Austin Bass Boss. Yeah, he's like watching it and stuff. But
how long did it take you to do 400?
I don't remember exactly because I didn't time it, but I did it. It didn't take that long. It was all in the morning. It was like within a couple of hours, because I remember I set my alarm. Like I was all excited. Like I'm gonna wake up because this during COVID, there was nothing happening, and I was like, I'm gonna do this, man. And I remember waking up being all excited, and I was really pumped up for the first 100, because I think I was doing them 25 at a time. I think.
Yeah.
I forget.
Yeah.
But I had to plan out, how am I going to film this? I did it with the GoPro and, and I did mine, there's a tractor tire. So I did with my hands on the tractor tire, my feet on the ground. And that's just because I didn't want to get all like dirty and farm dirt. And I was like, oh, let's do it on this tractor. It kind of looks cool, like this tractor. And then of course, a couple of haters were like, oh, your chest didn't go all the way down to the tire.
Yeah.
And, oh, your form is, It's like, shut up, dude. I did 400 push-ups.
I know.
Have you gotten that too?
I haven't gotten anything negative yet, but I'm sure with all the haters on the planet,
Once you get out there, because right now you're probably not getting out there like yet, you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what it is.
But once it starts, I noticed that with everything. I noticed when I first started posting boxing videos when I was going to the boxing gym, and I'd show like my progress on the speed bag or the heavy bag or whatever. There was always people who are like, "Hey, bro," like all these couch experts, and then I realized, oh, it's not just me. They do that to everybody. Like everybody that does any kind of physical thing, for the most part, unless you're like Floyd Mayweather. Like they're always people that are like, bro, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to pivot, you got to, like with your push-ups. Remember you said you had to learn like, oh, I'm supposed to keep my elbows in and all this stuff.
This is kind of what I was saying to Dean a few minutes ago about how people are so desperate to feel good about themselves, and they do all these things to try to get that feeling, and one of them is critiquing other people. Haters are gonna be haters, whatever. There's always gonna be haters, but it always makes me laugh when I see these guys. It's like, dude, we realize that you don't feel good about yourself as a human being. So in order for you to feel good, you have to downgrade or you have to push someone else down.
Yeah.
And it's like, so that kind of shit doesn't bother me. I don't care.
Yeah, I noticed with this podcast, it's not like a hugely like wildly. It's just like earlier when I said your thing about the push-ups. It's like this podcast isn't like this crazy like Joe Rogan experience or something where I have like millions and millions of listeners. So the people that do follow this podcast, they're all 100% all positive and supportive. So thank you guys for doing that. I basically weeded out people with this podcast because we don't really do any like negative topics. I'm not really trying to like piss people off, like No,
so, but
so thank you guys for listening. Yeah.
And not to encourage people to be haters on your podcast, but as you probably know, haters actually help the algorithm, helps your content become more sent out more to more people because it just looks like there's engagement going on there, even though it's hate back and forth. It's engagement. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it. I get the hate on the videos. That's why I think those videos go viral because people start arguing in the comments and all that stuff. But even that, luckily, that's sort of getting weeded where it's mostly positive.
Yeah. Well, like you said, how long you been putting those up now?
The videos?
Yeah.
I've had a YouTube channel for like 20 years.
No, but when did you start putting up how I like my women?
I like my women like I like my. I have some back in the day, but I started doing it regularly, like regular. Probably. It started going viral about 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so have you figured out the accumulation of how many views you've gotten over the course of 2 years?
I could probably look at it, but
is it in the billions?
It's in the millions. It's definitely in the millions.
Oh no, it's got to be.
Because some have. Oh yeah, even lately on TikTok, some have taken off, and on YouTube lately.
You probably have. Yeah. You have at least minimum 50 million, right?
More because one of them has 18 million, and then recently on YouTube there's been. But yeah, anyways, it's all.
So you probably 100 million. Out of all the videos?
Yeah, probably. Probably, I guess.
That's insane.
I know, it's
bro.
insane. It's awesome. It's the best thing. It's like,
so
it's
let
so
the
cool.
haters hate, my man.
Yeah.
Let them hate. You got 100 million views.
Yeah, there's not that many haters, and I used to like try to talk to the haters, and usually if you do, they'll usually write back with some sense. But I'm like, why even waste your time with that?
Right.
I don't even respond.
Yeah, some guys, some creators, I guess when they're really big, famous comedians, I hear what they do is they call it post and ghost.
Yeah.
They post and they don't even look at the comments. They just post whatever they're posting and then just go about their business.
Then you'll find that your fans will usually like put them in check and stuff. Sometimes the fans will either put them in check or just random people will put them in check. Right. Or sometimes they'll, I've even had people DM me and go, hey, do you want me to put this person in check? And I'm like, don't waste your time. Don't worry about it. If you're going to do it, just do it. But don't tell me about it because I'll always say don't do it because you know what I mean? Well,
you can't. What do you got? 250,000 followers on Instagram?
I wish.
How
no,
do you have?
I think I'm over 200,000. I think we're at like 220,000 or something like that.
So you get all these. You got all these followers. You got all these views, and you got endless amount of comments as well. You can't possibly sit there and talk to each person. Obviously, you wouldn't have time to do it. So how do you decide who you're going to comment to or what? How do you do it?
That's a good point. If I do it throughout the day and I look, it's more manageable. It's harder if I haven't looked at my phone or something for a while because then it's like it becomes overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. So because it's just.
But I don't mind. But you're like right now I haven't really answered my thing or looked at my phone in like 6 hours because we're doing these shows and the podcast. But if it's throughout the day, I can usually manage it. And I'm in a little bit of trouble right now with Instagram anyway. So that's definitely slowed down. But I think that's going to get lifted up in next month. So
have you told the story why you're in trouble?
Yeah. You guys, if you do any social media stuff, be very careful if you put like certain words on the screen. And I put a word on the screen that rhymes with Rogaine and propane, and it's and they said that I was promoting illicit whatever drugs or something. It was just a joke, and I used the Eric Clapton song also with that song title. And so anyways, I don't want to talk about that word too much because I don't want to get in more trouble. But that's, I was talking to Jimmy Dore tonight. He's been kicked off on so many, platforms and stuff because he really talks about a lot of, things that, a lot of touchy topics that those platforms don't like. So,
Well, I know during COVID, I got kicked off on all of them. And I had a podcast back then, and when I got kicked off on all of them, I was like, why am I making these videos? Because I don't have a place to put them. So what is Jimmy doing if he's getting kicked off? Where is he putting his content?
Yeah, he probably does like other social media platforms that will not punish you for that. And also I think he does, what's that one where they pay for it? Patreon, yeah. So it's like people that are paying us behind a paywall, and then you can just talk freely, which is crazy because this is a freedom of speech. But whatever, I'm not really I didn't think. That's what I'm saying. I didn't even know I was doing something really wrong. I wish they would just give you a warning or have AI detect something as like if you try to upload something, it won't let you upload it if it's like a copywritten song or something. It's like copyright, don't do it, and you're like, oh, okay, I won't do it.
That's like, well, when they look at, I would assume if the algorithm is looking at your content, they could basically go through it within a split second and go, oh, this guy's content is not harmful. He's never really done anything that would violate any guidelines. So let's just send him a shot. Go, hey, we took this down because it doesn't whatever.
I think you're supposed to like misspell words instead of spelling it like SE. You're supposed to like. Me and my wife had SEGGS.
Yeah,
right?
I did a video on that about the 7 words you can't say on social media, and SEGS was one of them.
Yeah.
And then
be careful with this. Don't get me in trouble on this.
Yeah. But there was other ones too. SA, you know what that one is, right?
No.
It's blank assault.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Let's move on to a different topic. But why are we doing this?
That's the paranoia. That's the paranoia talking.
I know we're all being paranoid. Like,
They're going to listen to us.
Yeah. Anyways, well, you guys, thanks for listening to another episode. And Kevin, thanks for jamming with us.
Man,
and
my pleasure.
You too, Dr. Dean out there. And all right, guys, listen, if you like this episode, do us a favor and leave a comment, a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you want to give us a little donation, go to Buy Me a Coffee, and you'll find me on there. The link is in the description below. Buy Me a Coffee, and what that means is you can do any donation, any amount you want. It just keeps the lights on for us. It keeps us happy. It shows us that you care. And go follow Kevin Alderman on all the platforms and make him do a lot of push-ups.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to The Pocket Party.